This is CBN NewsWatch.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm George Thomas. Scorching heat in the western United States with temperatures rising 30 degrees above normal. China cracking down on religion. This time in the schools. Our chief international correspondent, Gary Lane, will tell us what's happening and what it means. Here in the U.S., a grassroots rebellion as parents in Loudoun County, Virginia, blast the school board for censoring free speech, explicit sex discussions, and discriminating based on race. We'll bring you a look at what is happening in the classrooms. And finally, another major step forward for Israel, as another country recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of the Jewish state. Those stories and much more today on Newswatch. We begin, though, with the severe heat alerts in the western U.S., as a thermometer reaching a whopping 30 degrees above normal in some places. Dale Hurd has a story about the sizzling heat.
33 million people in 7 states are sweltering under some of the hottest temperatures ever recorded. Intense, prolonged, unprecedented, dangerous. That's how the National Weather Service is describing the historic heat wave hitting the Pacific Northwest, pushing daytime temperatures into the triple digits.
To have such hot temperatures in June is historical. We haven't had anything like that.
Experts say the northwestern United States is under what they call a once-in-a-millennium heat dome that has ground many normal activities to a halt.
I can't move around outdoors.
In the Pacific Northwest, where air conditioners are only needed a handful of days a year, residents were lining up to buy them, but this store sold out.
I apologize. We were supposed to get more in.
On top of that, the power demand has caused outages for some 3,000 customers in Portland and 3,400 in Seattle. It's feared the early heat wave could mean an early kickoff to the West wildfire season, as officials already begin to restrict 4th of July fireworks.
It's just a matter of, what's going to set it off. And now you got the 4th of July coming. We're hearing fireworks go off every night.
We're now right back into it and having to be prepared for an eventual brush fire that's going to happen, that's going to call us all out to the field again.
California is already suffering under drought. These satellite images, taken about 1 year apart of the Angeles National Forest in Southern California, illustrate the drought that is gripping the state. Major reservoirs are down in the west, threatening agriculture and drinking water supplies. Even Canada saw its highest temperature ever recorded Sunday afternoon, 116 degrees Fahrenheit. And for those Americans in the Midwest and East, forecasters warn the heat is headed your way. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Thank you, Dale. The U.S. military carried out airstrikes in Syria and Iran. The strikes, launched under the direction of President Biden, were against facilities used by militia groups backed by Iran to launch unmanned aerial vehicle attacks against U.S. troops in Iraq. The Pentagon saying the strikes were defensive and sent a clear and a very clear deterrence. Here at home, rescue workers digging feverishly for a 5th day today stressed that they could still find survivors in the rubble of a collapsed Florida condo building. Hope family members are clinging to, even though no one has been pulled out alive since the first day the structure fell.
We just need a few more miracles each day.
The death toll rose by 4 people Sunday to a total of 9 confirmed dead, but more than 150 are still missing. Teams from Israel and Mexico are helping out in the search efforts. Former President Donald Trump was back on the rally stage again Saturday, appearing in Ohio with his first campaign-style event since leaving the White House. Take a look.
We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down. We will never, ever surrender. My fellow Americans, our movement is far from over. In fact, our fight has only just begun.
Trump was in Ohio to support former White House aide Max Miller, who is challenging Congressman Anthony Gonzalez in the state primary. Gonzalez was one of 10 Republicans to vote to impeach Trump after the January 6th Capitol riot. An important report about what's happening to religious freedom in China. Bob Fu is a Chinese-American pastor who founded China Aid, which provides legal aid to Christians in China. Well, last Thursday, he tweeted, quote, "New cultural revolution starts in #CCP China." This notice to students in a first-grade class demanding all parents and teachers to hunt all religious books, antagonistic books, and overseas books, including books and videos that are copied, duplicated, and translated. Everyone is mandated. CBN News Chief International Correspondent Gary Lane is here with more on this story. So, Gary, is this a sudden development? Why is it happening now?
Well, you know, the Chinese Communist Party's modus operandi is to indoctrinate all students into the Chinese Communist Party way. And so this is just more of that. But this includes Bibles, George. But why is it happening now? Because guess what? We've got an Olympics coming up, and the Chinese Communist government does not want any disruption for the Olympics. So they really fear that there could be protests, pro-democracy movement going, and so forth, leading up to the Olympics and during the Olympics. So this sends a message to the parents, look, no outside influence. We don't want any collusion with foreigners here because they know that foreigners, of course, are pro-democracy. And so they're indoctrinating the students, but they're also targeting not only the youth of China, but also sending a message to the adults.
Gary, this is being called, at least according to Bob Fu, a new cultural revolution. How does it differ from Mao's cultural revolution back in the 1960s?
Well, as you know, Mao's Cultural Revolution in 1966 through 1979 targeted many intellectuals and anyone that he considered to be an opponent of communism. And so it was very violent back then. He had gangs, youth gangs that rounded up people, and they were thrown in prison. There were massacres. As many as 20 million people may have been killed by Mao during the Cultural Revolution. So this one is less violent. This one is a quiet revolution that is happening inside China.
And it is not happening just on the mainland.
Yes.
We've seen this erosion of freedom, various freedoms in Hong Kong, and it's even happening in the schools in Hong Kong.
Yes, yeah. But in Hong Kong just recently, just last night, another one of the members of Apple Daily, the newspaper that was shut down on the 24th of this month, it no longer is allowed to print. They had their last issue on the 24th. And they've got, I would say, probably about 7 of their editors and leaders now have been arrested for foreign collusion. And one of them, of course, the founder, Jimmy Lai, you know Jimmy Lai, he was also arrested. So this is very serious. The pro-democracy newspaper, the lone voice, remaining voice of democracy in Hong Kong, the editors rounded up, the founder imprisoned, and no more printing in Hong Kong. So this really, George, shows that the Communist Party is fully in control there. They also appointed some new leadership there in Hong Kong, security, police commissioner, and so forth.
And this is very disturbing because, you know, Hong Kong was supposed to be transferred back to China, you know, the 50-year rule, and they stepped in last year, 2 years ago, and cracked down severely, right?
Yes, and they're very concerned about the pro-democracy movement there, and that's why they're cracking down. We need to be praying for Hong Kong because one country, 2 systems is no longer in existence there.
Yeah. Back here in the United States, the members of the largest Protestant denomination in the United States recently took some action against, on behalf of, rather, Chinese Uyghurs. Tell us exactly what happened there.
Southern Baptists in Nashville, that's the largest denomination, Protestant denomination in the United States. 15 million strong, they came out and they said, what is happening to the Uyghurs in China is genocide. And this is very significant because Baptists say we believe in religious freedom. The Uyghurs have their God-given rights to practice their faith just as we do. So that's very significant, a big step, the first denomination in the U.S. to do so.
And I'm sure the Chinese are watching this development very, very carefully as well. As always, Gary, appreciate you coming on the broadcast. Thank you. Folks, coming up next, we're going to look at an explosive controversy over education right here in the United States as parents are protesting radical racial theories and explicit sex discussions in a public school system in Virginia. We'll show you how parents are fighting back. Up next.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep as the world watches from the outside.
It's a big diplomatic tug-of-war here in the Middle East.
Go inside the story with Jerusalem Dateline.
Israeli archaeologists are talking about a discovery that could change the thinking about the Temple Mount.
Join CBN Jerusalem Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell and get the biblical perspective on the events shaping the world.
What starts in Israel then ends up going to other places.
Watch Jerusalem Dateline Friday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Your news channel. Your shows. The stories you care about. Anytime you want. Anywhere you want. Download the CBN News app today.
Welcome back, folks. A grassroots revolt against the teachings in a public school system in Loudoun County, Virginia. Concerned parents believe board members are censoring free speech and discriminating against students based on race. And the classes also include explicit sexual information. Tensions have gotten so high that last week 2 people were arrested at a school board meeting as that erupted. Tara Mergener brings us the look at this explosive controversy.
This is Loudoun County. Not only is it the wealthiest in the country, it's also become ground zero for public school controversies nationwide. Loudoun voices are among the loudest, with a growing number of parents insisting the system is indoctrinating their children with an anti-American agenda.
About an hour west of D.C., Loudoun is famous for rolling hills, wineries, and staggering growth. These days, however,
today, instead of focusing on the hate that seems to be dripping off the followers of Jesus in this room,
it's getting headlines for explosive school board meetings.
There are people like me and a line of other people out there who will gladly take your seat and figure it out.
Where irate parents read X-rated book excerpts from the required school reading list.
He had a big and sometimes a girl just needs a big.
They're perverted because there is no other rational or reasonable explanation for why adults would want to expose other people's kids to sexual content.
Accuse members of targeting traditional family values.
The school is immersed in this leftist ideology.
They're teaching essentially children to hate their parents.
And sound off.
They want to divide us by the color of our skin.
On what critics call a divisive race curriculum.
CRT is racist. It is abusive. It discriminates against one's color.
Week after week.
Then why do you have Black Lives Matter? Have all lives matter.
Meetings as heated outside as in.
Enough of the toxicity and the division and looking at your skin color and your skin color.
One group insisting students are used to push politics.
I was taught at a very young age what to look for in socialism. What do? They go right to the children.
The other trying to drown them out.
Why does this offend you? Why do these 3 words offend you?
While some parents are behind the school board
to stop turning equality into a weapon,
Calls continue to grow from others who say it has got to go, as volunteers collect signatures to recall 6 of the 9 board members.
Fight for Schools is going to fight for Loudoun County students, parents, and teachers.
Because all eyes are on Loudoun County.
We get outreach from places all across the country asking how they can replicate what they're doing here.
Topping the list of complaints, that Loudoun is part of a national effort to push critical race theory.
They've just been tricked into something that not many black people are into.
Which opponents say teaches all institutions are racist.
We're just trying to let everybody know what these people are doing, and they're trying to, you put a lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig.
Though an LCPS spokesman denied several of our requests to interview Interim Superintendent Scott Ziegler, Ziegler publicly insists its equity plan is not critical race theory. We also caught up with 2 school board members clearly at odds.
How is critical race theory different than the equity plan?
Well, they're not the same, period.
Can you give me one sentence that tells me what the difference is?
I think it's a one sentence. It's complicated.
Do you think that they're injecting critical race theory if you had to make your own analysis?
Encouraging teachers to at least think about it and to put it as an influence of their teaching.
Some parents are suing administrators over race-based initiatives in the plan they claim could stifle free speech and discriminate.
One of their equity groups, which I don't really agree with because I actually got rejected joining that group because I'm white.
They are doing a lot of their dirty work through teachers.
In this virtual Zoom meeting obtained by CBN, we see and hear a group of teachers and the local NAACP's educational chairwoman discussing ways to get school board members in their camp.
You know, she especially has a heart for special needs kids.
And I can frame most issues on race in a disability rights framework, too, to speak to her in that way.
I will say that Leslie and Ian both ran on the Democratic ticket in the last year, so they did. They better act right.
Another sensitive subject for many parents and even educators here, perceived attacks on religious freedom, like LGBTQ books they say are in kindergarten classrooms.
There's a lot of stuff in the classrooms that are kind of but they're there.
Then in May, an elementary gym teacher placed on administrative leave for saying this.
But I serve God first, and I will not affirm that a biological boy can be a girl and vice versa because it's against my religion.
Per order of a judge, Tanner Cross is back to work. The fallout still spilling over into a local pulpit.
They are emotionally abusing our children by perpetuating the lie about gender confusion when they affirm pronouns that are contrary to biology, reality, and the beautiful design of God. So they need to be held accountable.
As local Democrats demand Pastor Gary Hamrick recant his comments, Tanner's congregation is lining up in support.
As they see this liberal progressive agenda infiltrating our school system, the parents should rise up and say, we don't like the people who are making these choices, and if they want to replace them, they should not only replace them, but they should themselves want to run for the school board and get in people that they can support and who will better represent their values.
While some may agree with this direction, critics insist public schools funded by taxpayer dollars do not exist to groom activists, shame children for their skin color, or deny them the innocence of childhood. Concerned parents here say they hope their fight will encourage others across the country to do the same. In Loudoun County, Virginia, I'm Tara Mergener, CBN News.
Still ahead, another nation recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and moves its embassy to the Holy City. We'll bring you that story right after this.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
Administering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
a 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to cbnnewschannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News. Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Get your daily quick start from CBN News. A quick read on the important news of the day delivered right to your inbox. Stay current on breaking news, politics, and entertainment. Go to quickstart.news and subscribe today.
Another step forward for Israel and Jerusalem. Last Thursday, Honduras became the fourth country to move its Israeli embassy to Jerusalem. As Chris Mitchell reports, many see this as a positive sign that more countries will also recognize Jerusalem as the capital of the Jewish state. Take a look.
Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez told CBN News why moving the embassy marked a special day for his country.
It's a unique day in our history, and this is a recognition from all people to the people of Israel. And I believe that this is going to be good today and tomorrow.
Upon following through on the commitment, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett recognized the courage it took Hernandez to move the embassy.
Mr. President, Honduras, under your leadership, stands consistently with Israel in the international institutions when it is not always popular, and sometimes it comes with a cost. And this is the evidence of the friendship and the willingness to take action, including paying a price. And I want to thank you and the public in Honduras for this support.
Some see today not only as an historic day for the nation of Honduras, but also part of an ongoing prophetic movement.
So what Honduras is doing, in a way, it aligns itself, you can say, with God's purposes for this nation, but not only Israel, but for the whole world. And I'm convinced that God is going to bless Honduras for that.
A delegation of nearly 20 pastors joined President Hernandez.
The Lord is helping us to have a better relationship with a country that we are in brotherhood.
While Honduras becomes the fourth country to move its embassy to Jerusalem, many expect more are coming.
I see that this is just the beginning. I think that we're going to see faith-based diplomacy grow in Latin America. In Africa, we're going to see an embassy move soon from the country of Malawi, Eastern Europe. This is a process that is happening all over the world.
President Hernandez felt a unique honor to be part of this moment in Honduran history.
I thank to God because He allowed me to be here in this moment, trying to serve the Honduran people, and nobody else has been in this position to take this decision. Thank to God for allowing me to be here and to be part of this moment in history.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Coming up, Kay Robertson of the Duck Dynasty clan ends up in the hospital because of a bite from the family dog. We'll explain what happened when we come back. Stay with us.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Wednesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Remember for a moment what it was like to be a child. You believed every story you were told. You saw a world full of endless possibilities. What stories will the world's orphaned and at-risk children believe? We believe the Bible tells the only story truly worth believing. We believe that every child should have the opportunity to dream, the chance to take challenges and turn them into possibilities, the chance to stand on the promises of God, to recognize their place in the greatest story ever told. They have their whole lives ahead of them. Theirs is a world of endless possibilities. They are looking for a story to believe. We will tell them that story. Will you join us?
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Kay Robertson of the famous Duck Dynasty clan went to the hospital Tuesday evening after she was bitten in the face by the family dog. Kay, age 73, with the dark hair, was getting ready for bed when she bent over to kiss their sleeping dog Bobo, but she startled him, so he snapped at her. She woke her husband Phil, on the right in the picture, and said in a podcast that a chunk of her bottom lip on the right side was gone. Bleeding profusely is an understatement, he said. Doctors stitched up Kay's wound and she went home. Kay and Phil said Bobo didn't mean to do it, and Phil added that Bobo greeted Kay by licking her foot when they got home. Wow, that's pretty intense. Well, folks, that's it for this edition of CBN Newswatch. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel anytime or online with cbnnews.com. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen by emailing newswatch@cbn.com, or you can reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We hope you'll join us next time. From all of us here from the headquarters of the Christian Broadcasting Network, happy Monday. Have a great week ahead. God bless.